Yo, what's up, everyone? It's Pisces Pixie, and I want to do your cards today to help you understand a little bit better about your circumstances, get better understanding about the situation that you're in, and get you any help, any spirit messages that maybe you're not picking up on right now, or maybe you need some confirmation about to help your path right now, to help you get more clarity, and to just help you feel more confident and strong about the situation you're in, especially if you're feeling confused and worried or fearful. I really hope that this card reading can clear things up for you. If you're new to pick a cards, the way that it works is that you pick a pile which is connected to a timestamp down in the description. You pick which one you are drawn to, either pile 1, pile 2, or pile 3, and then you click the corresponding timestamp down below. If you're drawn to more than one, then I would recommend to listen to the first one that you feel strongest towards, and then listen to any others later. And please just take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If anything is triggering, just maybe contemplate the message a little bit more beyond the triggers. Sometimes there's going to be certain words that I might use that you may not use, or certain words that might have a negative connotation but aren't being used that way, that you might need to challenge yourself on. You know, we're very limited. We're just trying to get spirit messages in English. And sometimes there's different unconscious weight that we put on different words that don't always mean the same thing, and can be used differently. So if anything is triggering, contemplate on those messages and try and parse that out and see if there is anything useful in there for you. I am a full-time psychic reader and astrologer. I run classes and teach people. I love my little community that I have mainly over on Twitch, but I'm dabbling in YouTube. But it's really nice to meet you. If you're new, please make sure you hit like and subscribe. And I'd love to see your faces down below and see what messages you took away from this. That also helps me to strengthen my connection to those messages, so that in future videos I can get even more potent messages for you, knowing that you're here watching and your spirit guides are speaking through my spirit guides. So that's super helpful. Anyway, I'll see you guys in your pile. All the best, all the love, and I'll see you soon. Okay, yo, what's up, pile 1? I hope you guys are doing good. So what I'm seeing in your cards right now is that there is a lot of opportunity for growth right now. You might not be able to see these opportunities, but there are some really big changes on the horizon. However, I do see an issue here with you not taking the guidance of other people and you not accepting help from other people. There is this element of you really pulling back your energy and severing cords so that you feel like you're finding yourself on your own terms, but it's a little bit awkward because I'm really seeing a situation here where you're going to end up cutting off the wrong people, and you will have to re-enter these spaces, or like re-enter these situations with an apology or with some kind of humbleness. Because, you know, this might sound strange, but I really see here that you are trying to find where you serve in this world, where you show up in this world, and where you're being guided to, where you're being guided to show up. This could be in your career path, and this can be in you finding a new form or new source of fulfillment. And I'm seeing that you're not being adequately supported by your friendships, or just not feeling like you have the right friends around you right now to uplift you or support you in this part of your journey. You're starting to feel demotivated or self-doubt. You're starting to feel like you give your energy to others, but they don't show you the same type of energy, or they don't reinvest back to you in the way that you want. But I do see here that you are looking at things in a darker, more negative light than they actually are. Your real struggle here is that you feel lost. The real struggle here is that you are really trying to understand where you serve. And this doesn't have anything to do with anybody else right now, but you're sometimes misinterpreting that truth of this is for you to figure out, this is for you to understand yourself right now. And you are misunderstanding the impulse, and you're starting to sever or remove yourself from situations that actually might not be how you need to go forward in this. This is about you can pull back your energy without severing. You can retreat and understand yourself and do your self-reflection work and get back in touch with yourself without having to delete your accounts or unfriend people or completely sever. There is a better way to go about this, that sometimes there's a build-up of energy because you're frustrated about not fully understanding where you're heading. And when you're frustrated, that energy builds up and it needs to be released. And pile one, it seems like sometimes the only way you know how to release or expel your energy is by cutting off threads and cutting off the help from other people. Now, there is value here right now of you going to yourself for your own guidance and understanding and learning how to become your own light. This is the healthiest expression of what Spirit wants to teach you right now, is that right now, when it comes to you finding your path and finding your light again, no one else is going to reinforce this light for you like you can right now. People may even try to give you advice, try to give you help, but they cannot speak to the type of darkness that sometimes you're feeling about this. Sometimes this is something that you have to resolve yourself, and you have to start confronting yourself with, because this is the type of energy that it takes for you to actually follow your passion. It's going to require courage. And sometimes you are falling into depression. There is the word victimhood coming to mind. It's like a disempowering mindset where you keep looking at the lack of support from friends and thinking that people should be doing more to support you. People should be doing more to show up for you. But right now, this is the time where you need to be showing up for yourself. And showing up for yourself doesn't need to look like destructively removing of things. It can be about a healthy step back. And I keep being drawn to the type of the split of the colors in this card. And it's like, it's not 50-50. It's not one or the other. It's like, I'm being drawn to the way the colors move in this as advice for your shift, because, you know, you have this deep, introspective, honest period that you need where you know you need to take care of yourself, and you know what might need to be done to get yourself in a better place. And it's about fostering your confidence, and it's about understanding that it's so important and vital right now for you to believe in yourself and believe in your goals and believe that you have what it takes to go there. I'm going to be real. I feel with some of you that you just do not feel like what your life path or what it even is you want to do, you think you can't do it. You might think it's going to take too much work, or that you don't have the degrees, or that you don't have the expertise, or you don't have what it takes right now. And Spirit just want you to at least start believing that this path is possible, that this path, this opportunity, you can grow towards it and achieve it. You can't keep stepping on your own way, shooting yourself down, and playing out this dynamic. I'm seeing that you keep playing out this dynamic where you refer to others for guidance, for validation, for support that they cannot speak to. And it's not that they don't love you, and it's not that they don't understand. It's just that this part of the journey where you feel isolated is because you need a level of isolation to look at yourself. Because with this Knight of Swords in reverse, it's like you have all of these connections and all of these opportunities, but when you're too enmeshed in your surroundings or too enmeshed in the energies of your friendships, too enmeshed in what everyone else thinks, what everyone else's opinion is, how everybody else feels about it, you end up procrastinating and feeling indecisive, and you end up questioning your own abilities to do things. Now, with the Queen of Coins in reverse, there is an element here of you feeling like you are not being taken care of, you're being failed. And there is sometimes a deep desire to have others take care of this for you or to be mothered through this journey. But this is also in reverse speaking to your own lack of connection to nature right now, and you really needing to start to focus on how your body feels, grounding your energy, and spending some good quality time in nature so that you can reset your energetic influences. You need to reset who is influencing you right now. And again, people influencing you isn't directly them speaking in your ear. It's about how intuitively you feel like other people are going to feel about you. Sometimes as well, you guys are almost tapping into a hypothetical audience, an imagined audience of how they are going to perceive what it is that you're doing, or their doubts and opinions and influences. And sometimes on an energetic level or just on a psychological unconscious level, you're almost calling that in. Like, what does the negative worst case scenario collective think about what it is that I'm doing? And it just floods you, and you need to learn to set a container around that. I do feel like this card is speaking to your first step into a greater mastery of your emotions and of not letting certain types of emotions wash over you and get the best of you. But also, maybe for the first time in a long time, you are learning how it is that you truly feel and how you truly feel about yourself and how different things make you feel. And in the past, you may have either really, I'm hearing the word overspilt, like you have been very quick to have other people take responsibility for your emotions and how you feel. Maybe they said something upsetting or something that wasn't nice to hear at the time, and it made you not take ownership of your feelings. Like you didn't properly process, like, okay, when they said that actually made me feel sad because they're hitting on a trigger that I feel insecure about. And it's not the Queen of Cups yet, it's a page. So this is really about you learning something new. And I do feel like you're reprogramming yourself so that you have more positive messaging coming from inside of you, rather than always having to look outside, look to others, and look for different forms of inspiration to move you and to get you back on board with your path. This is you finding your own understanding of why this is important to you and why this path you want to walk feeds your light, and why maybe certain things need your voice, or why you belong in that field, or why you belong in that space. And this is not going to come from your day-to-day friends. You know, the Three of Cups is giving me this vibe of like, this is like your day-to-day friends that you keep you keep in contact with. It just feels like it's not going to come from them. So I'm going to pull some charms, and I'm just going to ask for some additional information or guidance or things that you need to understand. What do they need to understand about this right now? Yeah, you need more space. It's okay to take space, but be careful not to sever. That is one of the important messages right now. I don't want to be rude, but for real, I've been seeing this so much in the collective lately, where people are just treating others like they're disposable. You can really respect the need for space, respect your own need for space, but please do not keep disposing of people and disposing of things so carelessly. The threads of your positive future are so, there's such a strong line that runs through, but these relationships, these nourishing relationships, they are in a delicate phase. And you know, whoever this is hitting right now, you know how you've regretted it in the past when you have cut the wrong cord. So please take your space, take your vacation, go on your travel. You have van life. Go on some travels, take time away, but stay in contact or keep in contact with the people that you may struggle to see right now their benefits, or you may struggle to see right now how they are a positive force in your life. But when you have figured this out, you will want to be back with them. When you figured out your stuff, you will want to be reunited with them. So please just take your space. And when I say keep in contact, I don't mean you have to message them every day. And you know, for someone who's listening and who's quite anxious, you are allowed to say, and you will not be in trouble if you were to tell people like, hey, like, I'm really struggling right now to figure out my stuff. So like, I'm gonna be a little bit less active. I'm gonna need a little bit more space. I'm gonna need a little bit more time. That's okay. You own that. I have seen it a lot recently where people are full on without a message, without word, just completely like 180ing on people, and that's not okay. I understand the impulse. I understand that the energy wants to be released, because what's basically happening is that because you're not moving yet towards your life's purpose, you start to get this generated, frustrated sense in you, because it's like you're trying to move towards where your soul wants, but you're feeling blocked, but that energy still continues to develop and it needs to be released. And I feel like the most popular way people know how to release energy is through leaving. And, you know, I'm pulling some more charms now, and it's saying, you know, you can do it through music, you can do it through speaking, do it through venting. Have your voice be heard, let it out through that. Yeah, don't be a prick. Don't be a destructive prick. Don't be a destructive prick. Now, I'm sure there will be situations, some of you here, where once you have gone through this period of time, when you are feeling more connected with yourself, you will be able to make these decisions as to who you maybe want to completely part ways with. Okay, because then another side of this is what comes to mind is like the intentional burning of forests, where they intentionally burn parts of the forest so that the rest of the forest can thrive. And although you are destroying things that are lively, things that have life, that do have potential, it's about burning away things so that the more important parts of the forest like can thrive, or so that the greater ecosystem as a whole. So again, the things that aren't sustainable need burning away, even if it's not completely dead. But you'll know a little bit more about what that means to you when you've gone through this process. Okay? So I hope this makes sense. You know, just hold off on any like big cuts. You can take space, take time to reconnect with yourself, and you're going to reassess this. What else do they need to know about this? Oh, you have a cactus with a flower on it. So this is giving me vibes of like there will be new opportunities and new growth. I also feel like too, this all of this built up energy is making you more inflamed, more triggered, and making you maybe more irritable. You are like, with some solo time, you have the cat, which is about independence, it's about freedom, and it's about looking out for yourself. You will return to a time where, you know, not everybody pisses you off so much, and you can appreciate the things in your life and the people in your life for who they are without feeling so conflicted. I also feel like generally you guys are managing conflict and managing distractions a lot better. Yeah. We have this is feeling like this charm comes out a lot when it's like you're being influenced by many different voices, most of them on an energetic level, most of them tormenting you, making you feel not good enough, telling you that you can't do it. This can also be as well, just real talk. Some of you guys are demonizing and judging people who have their stuff together or who have managed to, this scenario you're in, this kind of dark night of the soul, finding the self. Everyone kind of has, anyone who is anybody has to go through these phases. You might be getting envious of people who have understood how to navigate this, and it's not because of privilege. Some of you, and I think this is like part of the voice, and maybe, you know, this can go many different ways. Maybe you're judging yourself, preventing yourself from doing some kind of service work because you feel like people are going to judge you as privileged, you know, but you also might be judging others as privileged for being in the position that you want to be in. And this is kind of getting into like shadow work vibes where you guys do need to, you have open your eyes, Morty, open your eyes. This is you needing to take an honest look at your attitude, your behavior, your assumptions that you're making of others, and also the assumptions that you're making of yourself, and really starting to look at the world with more beauty, looking at yourself. You have the charm of you are beautiful. You're a lot more beautiful than you realize as a person, maybe even in your looks. The way that you speak, the messages that you speak, the things that you want to share with the world are a lot more beautiful than you realize. And this little brain goblin demon that's trying to fill your mind with shit, trying to get you to doubt yourself, you know, on a grander scheme, for those who are like really into their spirituality, this is like the battle of light and dark that's going on within each and every person. And all of those dark thoughts, you do need to learn how to master that stuff and not become a agent of it. Okay? Because that's what I mean when we're talking about severing and cutting things off and ritualistic burnings so that future forests can grow. We have to respect the intention and where that energy is moving from within us. Because if that is from a painful place, you are just inflicting more pain onto others. And karmically, like if we know it, then we can stop it, right? For those that cut and sever when you're emotional, I want you to ask yourself, like, how many people have done that to you, and how many times have you been blindsided by that too? Don't be that person. How many times have you been judged when you were starting to share your light and starting to move on your passion, and how that judgment, how that one little look or that one little snarky feeling towards you, how did that dampen your shine? You are being protected right now. I do feel as well that some of you could really do with some spiritual cleansing and spiritual protection. There is many different levels to this, but continuing to work on your spiritual practices that bring you that cleansing, bring you that clearing feeling, again, getting in touch with nature, getting in touch with the elements. This represents all 5 different elements: spirit, earth, water, air. The other one that I forgot. Fire. It represents it all, and all in equal balance. And, you know, this is also an Ace of Pentacles. New opportunities are coming to you. Don't doubt that. Don't let these inner voices steal your opportunities away from you. You have no idea how supported you are, but you really are going through that phase right now where you are learning to master your light for yourself. No matter how much it's celebrated, no matter how much it is validated, no matter the opinion, good or bad, no matter how much others love it or hate it, you're learning to walk your path, and you're learning to walk it in alignment with what you value. You do need a release, though, of this energy. And hey, maybe this is you finally showing up in the world, releasing your music, making those videos, singing those songs, dropping that diss track. I don't know. Yeah. Having those fiery conversations, singing your truth, speaking your truth, you know? Okay, so let's pull a final card. Is there anything you guys need to know right now? The best of you. So this is and this is a card of 8 as well, which is about this mastery. Oh, this is 3. I'm blind. Okay, well, half mastery. So this is you learning to channel the best of yourself. You have on fire in reverse. So again, I keep feeling like y'all are like super fiery right now, or you're feeling super sad and really heavy and very depressed and very like isolating and maybe like self-destructive. I feel like fire has like 2 ways of going about it. It either goes like out too much, but if it goes in too much and doesn't get expressed, it like becomes this almost like vortex of just like water, sadness. Just it creates its own energy that will continually put itself out. And I need you guys to be careful of that. Spirit wants you to be careful of that, because your unexpressed creativity and all of that energy that you hold back can end up becoming like a little vortex. So you have to know that is what it is. And sometimes your desires for self-destruction is more about you not knowing where the energy belongs and where the energy wants to be expressed. Please give yourself permission to express the energy in its highest form, in its rightful place, in its rightful path. A spiritual practice could be guides, angels, spirit. Please help me to express my energy in its rightful place. We have, it is 44. Just had to double check with my eyes. 4-4. This is about you building strength. This is confirmation that your hard work is going to pay off. This is confirmation that new career paths, new abundance, new finances are going to come your way. New foundations are being built right now for you. New foundations are being built right now. You've already picked up what I'm putting down. You're already starting to feel more positive about the changes coming up. So keep at that. And we'll get a final card. You have decluttering in reverse as well. So firstly, some of you guys might need to pack up some stuff and get rid of some stuff. But I am hearing a message here as well of use all the stuff that you've been collecting, right? Like you might have boxes that might need to be unpacked still, or projects that have been put to the side still, or maybe you have a habit of collecting tarot decks. Use them. Decluttering, in reverse, it's giving me this vibe of like ADHD purchases, impulse purchases, and then hoarding, and then you do a declutter only to fill up the space again. So this is giving me a vibe more of like, use the things that you own. It's not really about getting rid of stuff, but maybe organizing things in a way where you will actually use them, putting things in front of you, putting things on display. And maybe there's a box. So this is really specific. I'm seeing a box in a garage. Oh, that's me. Okay, this might be there's a box in a garage and you need to do something with it. Like you need to finish the thing that's in the box in the garage. Oh gosh. Yeah, no, that's if that's not for anyone, that's for me. Okay, all right, thanks, Spirit. Thank you for embarrassing me. All right, well, I hope this message made sense. Thank you, Pile One. If you'd like to check out more of my content and you have a little bit of extra money under your belt, I host a really cool tarot night every month, once a month for $9. It's part of my Patreon. We run a Discord community and I post spirit messages on Patreon. I do VIP readings. You can have a personal reading with me. There's all kinds of stuff on there. But the coolest thing is at my lowest tier of $9, you get to come to Tarot Night, which is a monthly get-together of spiritual folk who want to learn how to read their own cards. We have people who read for a living, and then we have people who are just starting. And every month we kind of do like a deep dive self-reflection spread, and we all pull our own cards, take a picture of it, share and discuss. And it's a really interesting night. I'm the one that hosts it. Like I'm very into my community. I like working with people. I like helping people come to their insights. But mostly helping y'all like trust your intuition and read your cards, especially for people too, you know, who are wanting to get into either reading cards like publicly for other people, or if you just want to start to get a good grasp of how to read your cards to help yourself. It's a really good space to be. We keep it at $9. You can pay $30 if you can afford to, and you get access to more stuff. But yeah, other than that, please like the video. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I will see you either on here or over on my Twitch channel, or maybe even in my Patreon. Okay, all right. I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye. Yo, what's up, pile 2? I hope you guys are doing good. I'm so excited to read for this pile because I feel like you guys are probably going to be my fellow witches, my fellow spiritual folk who are stepping into or reclaiming their confidence in their craft and maybe sharing more. Or this is your push to do it. So I'll get into the messages, but I'm just like, oh, hi guys, how are you? So the first card we have is you learning, you beginning, you already doing it. You're learning to nurture the things that you want to see grow. Now, for some of you, you have felt like it was not possible for you, that no flowers could grow in the winter, that no matter how much energy you put in, how many times you try, things were just not working out for you the way that you wanted them to. But you are being asked to keep your eyes open for a miracle, and you are being told that there are no limits to what you can and what you will achieve. And I feel so good about this spread. I feel like you guys are coming into your calling, or you're finally taking action towards your calling. You really need to nurture yourself and really need to nurture the things that you want to see grow in your life. You grew up in a space or in a place where you were not given the nourishment, the support for your light that you needed. You are so used to finding glimmers of light in really crappy places. You're so used to finding or making the best of a bad situation that sometimes you have such a low ceiling on what you think can be good in your life. You know, you can look up to Instagram gurus, social media content creators, and be like, they have it all together and they have something that I will never have, or that they have confidence or feel good about themselves in a way you never will. And for whatever circumstance you lived through, went through in your life, this actually makes you more qualified. It makes you more qualified to help people, work with people, or speak on things that these gurus cannot speak on. And because you grew up in such limitations, for some of you, I feel like you are or already were making money in a creative way. Some of you were already getting some kind of income, being a mystic, being a card reader, or you're just starting that journey. But sometimes you have this line of like, well, you know, I can dabble, I can try, but it'll never go anywhere. You are starting to challenge this. You do need to bring your creations out into the light, bring your voice out into the light, so that that light can nourish those seeds and so that they can bloom. You are learning to plant your seeds. You're starting to tend to things. You're starting to nourish them. Now you're in a phase where you need to start showing up. Or congratulations, you have already started to show up, and spirit want you to know there are no limits. to what you're going to be doing and what you are going to achieve from this. Your soul wants you to continue to be creative, continue to lean into your passions. Don't overthink about how people are going to find you. Don't overthink the details. We have this card of quarter life crisis, and this is in reverse. And firstly, this card is talking to me about how you guys are finding your calling. You have maybe always felt this calling, always felt like this thing that you're starting to do or you're being pushed to do now, you've always felt it. Or it's been there for a while of just like, okay, I'm going to do it. I don't know when, but it's going to happen. And this is the type of calling that you don't need to know the details of. You don't know how it landed on your lap. You don't maybe even know how the idea came. It just called to you and it's still calling you. But sometimes you are getting too caught up in the details of how everything's going to happen, mostly if people even care, if people are even going to find what you have to say. And Spirit wants you to know that the same way you are called towards things, the same way that you are called towards people, the same way that your calling called to you and calls to you, people will feel called to you. And you don't need to worry and you don't need to stress about what people are going to see or what people aren't going to see and what people are going to judge. You're afraid of judgment. You're afraid of people not understanding you. You're afraid that you can't speak the right words to get across the right message. Underneath your language, whatever language you speak, people will be called to the truth that you're trying to emit. People will feel it, the right people at least. Now, for some of you, part of this fear of judgment is directly related to some of your past lives as a witch. It says, you are a witch. Embrace your shadow, for it holds the key to your light. And this is making me think that some of you are like the weirdos who have something very potent, something very interesting to say, something that needs to be shared into the collective, even if it's just a perspective. But you might fear judgment because it's so different. And some of you have had those past lives, those traumas, like in your energy field, or maybe just in this life, just being rejected, being judged, being punished for your truth, being punished or judged for who you are and how you show up. So I want you to know, Spirit wants you to know. Sorry, I like channeling eyes and we's and these. Spirit want you to know that that journey of rejection and darkness and judgment that you've been on is important to share too. And knowing that you will find your people and they will be called to you. You don't need to worry so much about keeping who you think is meant to be there. There is a bit of a dark time upon people right now where people who are not moving in the direction of their soul, they are becoming more judgmental in a disempowering way. The kind of judgment where you can be creating and speaking your truth and standing in your light and it directly offends somebody or gives them the ick. This is where we're going. We have the card of the ick. You have felt it when people get the ick about you because of how you present in your life or how you speak in your life. You're learning to not let that ick set you back. You're learning to not be so tuned in to the potential ick that people can have about you existing. You have the Eight of Cups in reverse, which is the inner work in reverse. So you have been doing, you've done enough inner work now, it feels. You've done enough inner work now to not have this ick affect you so much. One of the important things though with the Eight of Cups is you're not walking away from yourself. Do not abandon yourself because others get the ick. Let them do their inner work. Their ick is a direct example of them not doing their inner work. Trust and believe, if you're doing your inner work, you're going to examine anytime you get an ick. Trust and believe that when you're really doing your inner work, if something gives you the ick, you're going to self-reflect and be like, okay, what is this showing me? What is this telling me? The ick is an invitation for people who do their inner work. And these are minor arcanas, and you've got your majors here. Like, you're over here doing major shit. You can't let this minor stuff keep undermining you. I think you've let that F you up too long. You're finding your path in all of this, you know, and this will take work, of course. But you have the Empress. This, again, is about you caring for your creations. This is you caring about what it is that you're making and creating and taking adequate time for yourself. I also feel for some of you, this is a call for you to get into your herbalism, into your gardening, into your flower essences. If you're into flower essences, I'd highly recommend Wild Oat right now, Wild Oat and Rock Fringe, just to give you a little bit more help in navigating, helping you get to your calling so that you're not so distracted. And then we have the Hierophant. So I do think that you are being asked to study. You're being asked to recommit to a study, recommit to your path, be open to learning more, continue to seek guidance from the people who are walking the path. And don't be afraid of, I feel like I'm hearing the words like asking vulnerable questions, because the people who are real teachers will give you real answers. They're not going to try and just present to you like a social media, you know, snippet or a package, you know, and, you know, most people who are skilled, they do end up being able to monetize that skill and sell it as a class or teach other people. But any good teacher will still be receptive to be able to like answer questions. They might not do it all for you. And, you know, they'll be able to give you some answer and like a direction and guidance to seek more out in different ways. But they're not just going to like paywall everything. So don't be afraid to ask. Okay, I'm going to ask for some more information for you. Right, yeah. You guys are going through some huge transformation. You are the butterfly. Stop pretending you're in a cocoon. You are coming out of that hibernation phase, that hermit phase. You're regathering your energy. Wow, we've got the flower. So this is more confirmation of flower essences, guys. You need space. In nature, you need more space. I also feel like you might need to clear up your living space as well. And make okay, so I'm seeing gardening, and I'm seeing like having more space in your home for things. This could as well be making like an altar as well. It feels like you need that space so that you can connect in and like nourish yourself. Then you have the charm of Queen. So this is, I know some of you guys listening to this, you're a whole ass man, but this is about you having space to tap into that royal femininity and that Mother Earth energy, that I am part of nature and nature speaks to me and nature fills me up, and the flowers, they talk to me and give me their messages. Wow. Hello. Some of you guys, literally the flowers want to speak to you. The flowers want to speak to you. Nature wants to speak to you. Spirits have messages for you that can only be given and delivered to you when you're out in nature, when everything's quiet, when you're disconnected from all that shit. Okay, you do have some I don't know if that's been your technique right now. This is very specific because I know not all of you, but if some of you guys have been feeling like your spirit messages aren't coming through, you might need to like slow down your bit on your I'm trying to think of I'm not monetized. Your weed consumption. And also too, maybe for some of you, if you need to encourage yourself to get out in nature, like maybe, you know, your friend, maybe this is your friend, but that isn't enough. You do need to go outside. Oh. I'm so sorry. This is like a sassy guide. Okay, yeah, no. Why is the two of these? Yeah, wow. Am I tripping? Oh, that's it, isn't it? Right. Okay. Yeah, because sometimes like you've been getting messages. You've been getting. This was literally just spinning around. That was weird. I know I span it, but I didn't know it could do that. Okay. So calm down. Some of you guys are getting messages from flowers. You think you're tripping. You're not. Nature really does have its messages for you. You are really getting some kind of messages. Please take space, listen to it. You think you're taking space, you actually need more space than what you're taking, okay? You need to take even more space, okay? And this is like just more space to be in this queen energy, in this self-nourishing energy. It's about protecting your peace. It really is. It's about being in your peace. Oh, some of you are laying down the mask or the role of like the mediator, the compromiser, the problem solver. Yeah, that's the space that you need too. Yeah, the space is not just physical. You know, the space is not just physically. That's why it's come out twice as well. They're like, yeah, I'm like, stop, like speak on that message. The space that they're speaking about. So yeah, okay, there is some need for physical space. There is some need for maybe making some more space in your home, making a space for like an altar, making space for you to do certain spiritual activities or practices. But they're also saying too that this space, you need more space inside in your body. You need more space to be made. So this is you, I do feel like detangling from, it just feels like emotional things that like get your attention and take up your time, take up your space. It's really about you moving away from that and just like being a little bit more hands-off, learning to stop, learning to pause and decide to engage, because some of the things that you let take up your space, yeah, it's kind of toxic. Some of it's kind of toxic. Some of it's kind of like enabling. I also feel too, I keep, we're getting a couple of like trip references. So some of you might, if you're into that, because, I know some people are, some of you might be being called to, oh my God. Yeah, some of you are being called by certain nature initiators to go on a kind of journey to help you move past this ick. Yeah, it's helping you solve some problems. There's some problems that you have that you just don't feel like you know how to solve it. You just don't have, it's too complicated. So, the thing is, it's like, you need to be with people who know how to solve it. And you're feeling called. Something's calling you. It could be, I can't say the words. It could be this, it could be these, it could be this, it could be other things, you'll know what flowers, what plants, what medicines are calling to you right now. It could even be different types of healings, but it does feel like it's like plant medicines. Wow, you also have peppers as well. So this could also be as well by like using or eating certain foods are part of that initiation too. You're starting to look after your nutrition, because for some of you as well, you didn't realize that your nutrition has been heavily impacting how you feel about your body, how confident you feel, how good you feel. So you're going to start making some good food again as well, it seems like. Okay, is there any other messages? Okay, we have some short trips. I can't help but shake that like some of you guys are just being invited into a certain type of trip, okay? This is also too, though, confirmation to please believe in yourself. Please believe in where you're going. Please believe in what it is that you want to do. For those that just feel like you cannot get past this ick that you feel tuned into, try some spiritual practices that will get you out of that. It feels like flower essences, nature, and other forms of natural medicine is going to be, that's what's calling to you right now. So listen to those messages. Listen to what's calling you right now. I'm going to pull one card. Any final messages, Spirit, that you want to say or relay to pile 2. So this is what you need to understand right now. Yeah. Wow. Declutter as well. I'm so curious if you guys were debating whether you should do pile 1 or pile 2, because you guys have a similar message, but a different way of going about it. And very different messages, but similar themes. Declutter, clean up, make some space. Okay. All right, guys. I appreciate you. I hope this message resonated. I really do. If you'd like to see more of my content, you can go check me out on Patreon. At my $9 tier, I host a tarot night. If you are looking to vibe with a online spiritual community, we do a Discord call every month where we do a spread, and then we take pictures of our spread, and then we discuss in a live call. It's recorded for anyone that can't attend it live, but it's a really, really chill, friendly place. You can sit with your mic muted and just listen. But it's a really, really friendly, comforting, supportive place, and it's my favorite time of the month. If you are somebody who's looking to get your routines in check and have more of a spiritual get together, then go and check it out. You also get access to all of my additional spirit messages that I channel just for my Patreon community. And then over at my higher tiers, I teach astrology. You can get free readings from me, and there's a ton of things over on there. But if you don't follow me there, because I know, the world is a bit fucked right now, you can go and see me over on Twitch, or you can just make sure you subscribe and like this video, and I'll see you in the comments down below. But I appreciate y'all so much, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you. I'm looking forward to hearing what message resonates here, because this one was interesting, and I will see you guys soon. Okay, take care, everyone. Bye. All the best, my little witchy bitches, and I will see you soon. Bye. Yo, what's up, pile 3? I hope you guys are doing good. So from a first glance at your cards, what you're really going through right now. So you are being challenged right now to have faith and perseverance, even though you no longer feel like you're being guided by higher forces. There's an element sometimes where it's like you do kind of feel like something big or something deep is happening, but you don't know what. And this is a time in your life where you do need to shatter some old belief systems and change some of your routines and some really deep ways of thinking. Now, there is a lot of confusion right now, and it's important that you don't allow your moods, your emotions to influence your worldview and influence the way that you're going about things and influence your ideals and stop you from being in touch with your ideals. It feels like you guys are going through a period of time where, you're worried about your finances, you're worried about how you're going to make things work and what you're even supposed to be doing. It does feel like this is in the material realm. It does feel like this is some really big conflicts of, what you believe is valuable and how you go about making money, and maybe some beliefs that you have about, one thing that was coming through is like some of you guys are like choosing a new career path, but at the end of it, like some of you just do not have the clarity about what your calling is. So some of you guys are gonna need to maybe just accept a job that just earns you a bit of money for now until you know where you're at, until you know where your path is, until you have your clarity again. Because sometimes like we don't always have that luxury of being able to take like a big hiatus from income whilst we figure out our stuff. Now, on some of this too, though, is some of you guys have these rigid ideas. Maybe some of you are in a career path, you are earning money, but you're so attached to the idea of doing something bigger or better in this world. but like you haven't quite figured out what that is yet. You've not even started the small steps towards that yet. Or maybe some of you have made the small steps, but it's just not quite come to fruition yet. And there is an ego death happening. There is a releasing. There is some old ways of thinking, some ways that you've been taught. I am hearing a really strong message. Like some of these ideas just came from social media during COVID, right? There is a lot of idealism in some of the stuff that's presented on social media as like what is financially viable and what is available for you. And this is giving me this a vibe of like you need to clear out some old new things that are reinforcing like your ideas around what success looks like. There is some, this is not to say that you can't have dreams. It's just saying that there is like a lot of confusion around how you go about having this dream and how you're going about having your ideals and the different things in this world that are influencing your belief in attaining it or the way that you go about having it. And this is looking, I'm getting a lot of different ends of the spectrum. Some of you guys listening to this, you're at different ends of the spectrum. Some of you guys, you know, there's so much heaviness in the world now that maybe you feel hopeless. Maybe, you know, there's a lot of stuff on social media right now. As we go through a recession, you know, a lot of people are struggling and maybe those worries are affecting you and making you lose sight of the resources that you actually have. And sometimes there might be situations where you may need to learn to handle living in a certain level of mediocrity around your finances. Some of you are going to have to learn to like live with family whilst you figure stuff out. So I do see pile 3 that you guys are going through a huge time of, firstly, I feel like forced self-reflection, and you are being made to maybe make decisions that aren't in your ideal. The Hanged Man is, firstly, it feels like you were already before this going through a period of time of like, firstly, you are going through like rejuvenation and renewal. But it feels like you're being made to make decisions that aren't in your ideal right now. Okay. And this is not to punish you. This is not because you're not meant to be going through this. Okay. And I think this is part of this ego death, you know, is whatever idea you have set up for what your life is meant to be, what it's meant to look like, what the timing's meant to look like, what success is supposed to look like, all of these supposed to's and all of this like tense structure you have is being letting go. Like it's being let go of. And what's interesting here is that you do have this perseverance and faith, and Spirit wants you to know that the changes that are happening here, or these things that you're just having to learn to live with right now, or learning to accept right now, is part of a greater process. And you do need to have more faith in your abilities and more faith in positive outcomes. And it does feel like sometimes these financial worries are, and also it feels like a marriage as well. There's something to do with like relationships, commitments, and like how you guys are going to make like a marriage work, or how you guys, like what your guys' future looks like together. This can be about location as well, because we have the Prince of Wands. This can be about where you guys are going to settle, where you guys are going to be at. And it kind of feels like right now that y'all are like, it's like you and them against the world, or you feel quite alone. So, okay, so this is the circumstances that you guys are dealing with. So I want to get some spirit messages to like kind of help unpack and understand, so you guys have more direction. So one of the messages of the Princess of Swords is not allowing your bad moods or these, I'm going to say, powerful psychic influences of the collective unconscious affect you so much right now. So the Princess of Swords is somebody who starts to develop like a really revitalized attitude about life, and can use their positive mental attitude to kind of like slice through bad moods and move forwards. This is in reverse right now. So I do feel like you are having to consciously develop a positive life attitude. And I honestly feel like this is you even being able to recognize that maybe some of your worldview right now or influences are coming from the collective. And I'm seeing this like bell being rung. And it's almost like trying to clear out and clear some levels of like influence and of negative influence. And simultaneously, it feels like there's this really subtle calling. You're being very subtly guided towards some big transition, and you're being subtly guided towards going some layers deeper. And I do feel like this is inviting you into like letting go of some deep, I'm hearing the words deep psychological holds. Like there's some deep holds that like certain psychologies like have over you. One of them is around productivity and where you think you're meant to be at in your life. This charm, it says more espresso, less depresso, but it's giving me vibes of like there are some very real things that you're working through that you have every reason to feel sad, concerned, or worried about. But it's like, how are you going about processing that? And I do feel like, again, you are, this is a very specific message coming through. Like sometimes you're not really taking the time to rejuvenate yourself. You might take like micro moments to let yourself recharge, but it's never enough to really get yourself to the realizations that are necessary. And there's something about productivity. And also too, like, you know, it's you trying to sometimes move your timeline quicker than it's supposed to be. There's something about whether it's you expecting yourself to be productive or you expecting yourself to be in this momentum, or your relationship being at some level of momentum, you're gonna have to let some of this stuff go. And this is big stuff. This is going to really humble you. And this is going to really show you what you're made of, and also reveal to you some new inspiration and new confidence, because all of your energy is being locked up right now in the solving of this. All of your energy is being locked up right now in the trying to just get through this. And there is something really powerful in like I feel it's like an ego death. And there are some parts of your personality that just are not serving you right now. There are some attitudes about what you are owed or what your life should look like that are just sapping your joy and your ability to even appreciate what it is that you have right now. And although the universe, like you have faith and perseverance here and the star underneath it, there are some very real like forces in the universe right now operating in your life. And I think sometimes maybe your spirituality or some parts of this attachment to your expectations in your life is like, oh yeah, like the universe will provide and like everything's just going to be figured out for me. But sometimes like there are these even more profound spiritual lessons, which is like all about letting go of the material and letting go of, I'm hearing a Western ego. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, but like a Western ego, something to do with productivity and career. And, you know, maybe even your spiritual callings being tied up into like having to be a career path. And it's just like, dude, sometimes there are just simple joys, you know, sometimes there are just simple joys. Now, I did pull this charm, which is a pestle and mortar. So I do feel like right now there are parts of you that feel like are literally being ground down, and you might be feeling like, again, maybe all of this stuff is making you challenge like this feeling of being on a grind. So I feel like there's some stuff there that's really being let go of. Yeah. Then you have a Grinch. So there is some kind of like really I feels like hostile way, maybe like a hostile instinct that you have. It feels like kind of being a little bit selfish, not appreciating or feeling connected to the things that do provide goodness right now. Yeah, there's something to do with isolation here as well, of like feeling. I'm trying to kind of connect into like the symbolism of a Grinch, because the Grinch, he went through like this embarrassing, humiliating moment, and then from there he just kind of progressively becomes more isolated and more bitter. And it feels like this is the energy that you're working through. Yeah, I'm drawn to this like no bad vibes, but originally it was covered and it was just bad vibes. I think you are literally working through your own bad vibes. Yeah, that your own bad vibes that you carry and that you put on yourself. A lot of the time when you don't address like your own crap, it's really easy to externalize it and put it on other people and think that it's others influencing you and others affecting you and life being a certain way. But I really do feel like this is you addressing your shit. Then you have the charm of real friends. So this might be, I really do feel like whatever this is, it's trying to help you to connect with the little joys and the pleasures of like being around good people and being able to make real friends. Maybe this too is like, I do kind of wonder if a level of this is like even if you're in a relationship, it feels like, again, it's like this, it just feels kind of isolated. It feels like maybe you feel like people aren't showing up for you right now. But yeah, you have this has come out on every single freaking like reading, every single pile. I need more space. And I feel like this is the conflict, is like you do need space. But yeah, then you have the toxic apple. So this is like you need space because like this inner, I'm just gonna call it toxicity. That's the only word that's coming through. Your inner toxicity is kind of like affecting you right now, and it feels like it's affecting your outlook on things and affecting your relationships. So you're taking space from people, but like you have to be careful that like whilst you take space from people, you're not like fostering this like selfish attitude where you're perceiving everybody through like projecting your own bad vibes like onto other people. Being like, oh well, they're not that great, or they're not this, or they're not that, and it's like, like this is really about you now. And this is about you kind of like, I do feel like there's a strong ego here that is being shed. And this can go into like things as well. I'm hearing the words like a toxic response to not getting enough. Like, if you grew up very isolated and didn't have many friends and didn't get the support, the love, the admiration, the affirmation, and the friendships that like you deserve, like when you've gone through like your hard life, and you're coming into feeling more deserving, then it can sometimes like slingshot into the other direction, or pendulum swing into the other direction of like being like, oh yeah, well like, my friends need to be like acting like this caliber, and my life needs to be at this caliber, and get like living this like really fruitful life where everything is like great and perfect. But it's just not real. Like it's not real. Like it, I think there's something here of like you're looking at things very bitterly. Yeah, and then you have mushrooms. It's like kind of toxic. There's something toxic that needs to be addressed here. Yeah, and you have open your eyes. So this is a period of time where you're really being asked to look at your own traits and your own contributions to the consequences, are happening right now. Also asking yourself too, like, can you be happy with less right now? Can you be happy with the circumstances that are just right in front of you? Like, yes, you might be single. Yes, you might need to be accepting like a job that isn't your ideal. Yes, you might need to like work through some stuff before you like start living your dream job. Yes, you know, you and your partner might not have things all figured out right now, or you might not be able to live together right now. Like whatever it is, like it's just, you know, can you accept, you know, your circumstances? Because yeah, Fridge, you're really closed off right now. I feel like instinctually as well, you know, you're closing off, you're closing people off. I do feel like the universe wants to guide you. And this it might be necessary for you to go through. Like there is good stuff coming on the other side of this. But this is your message for now. This is very different from the other messages I've had. I really hope that this is putting some more stuff into perspective. I'll pull a self-reflection card just to finish this off. Who do I envy and why do I envy them? Who do I envy and why do I envy them? If envy and jealousy and judgment is rife right now, it's there to teach you more about what it is that you want. Sometimes you kind of have to nourish your shadow and let it guide you in a different way than normal. So when you're jealous of somebody, when you are envious of where somebody's at, let that inform you about what it is that you want. And recognize too that sometimes envy really does come from a place of a real lack of resources. But sometimes, you know, we are not blessed. Sometimes we go through times where like our life is not blessed and we have to kind of like let go of our ego and maybe what social media has taught you about a perfect life, and maybe what media has taught you about what a perfect life is, and find new rejuvenation in simplicity, and find a less materialistic approach so that we can enjoy what it is that we have and lean into that more. Yes, and find real happiness and find self-love and contentment, okay? You know, this is a bit of a purging, you know, so you can appreciate the little things and things will turn up and, you know, this is not going to be this way forever, but if you can foster this kind of attitude of like simplicity, love, contentment, being happy with what it is that you have right now, you're going to be so much happier. And when the good things come, you're going to have a tempered attitude and a tempered ego so that you can sustain your blessings too. All right. I love you guys so much. If you would like a more in-depth reading about what this is about, that's more personal for you, then my private readings are open. You can also grab a reading over on my Twitch channel. They're a lot cheaper there than private readings, but the readings are done live in front of a public audience. There are some new posts over on Patreon that might be directed at you. Of course, this is just a general collective reading, but I can only tell you the vibes that I'm getting. I really hope that this was helpful. And if you do need more personalized guidance and a more of, you know, I do feel like in this scenario, you could do with a little bit of focused individual care. Especially too with like these shadow energies that are coming up, you know, I feel like it would be, you'd have to be careful. I mean, any guidance right now coming for y'all, like it could just be so easily, well, it's easy for you to say because you're and it's like, dude, like address that shit, address it, like address that, those responses, you know? So I'm sending y'all love because this is like a very real pivotal moment in your guys' lives. But you're gonna be so much happier. You seriously are with these coming out as the outcomes. Like I know this is rough, but you do have to confront that. But then you can get this. You know, then you can get this. And I've been here. Like she been here and it sucks because, you know, your inner child has all its expectations that it's held on too tightly. And this is this idea of like what it is that you would prefer. And like sometimes like it just is what it is, you know? all of us humans suffer. And sometimes like we have to humble ourselves. You know, maybe that's what it means by the Western ego. I'm going to Google that. Y'all should Google that too. What is a Western ego? But I appreciate you guys so much. I'm wishing you all the best. I love y'all. And may your life be blessed. May you find your clarity. Please keep persevering and hold on to your faith that there is a good outcome at the end of this. You will find your way. You will find your way. But this is just as much a part of the journey as the rest of it. Okay? So, love y'all. Appreciate you guys. I've spoken way too much now.
Bye.